it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, February 26th. So we are going to see the moon in Virgo go void, of course, at 2:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to be locking into Libra energy at 9:30 a.m. So the transition out of Virgo energy into Libra energy is always a welcome one because, of course, we are very present in our physical bodies, in our physical forms, in our physical environment with that Virgo energy being an earth sign. We want to get out of the heaviness, out of the weight. Yes, we are very much in the headspace with Virgo energy as Mercury does rule over that particular earth sign. And we were in a state of identifying problems in order for us to fix them, really processing the finer details of our mental plane, of our emotions, of our physical realm, really kind of deciding what needs to stay, what needs to go. The Libra energy, being an air energy, going to take us out of the physical form, lighten the mood, lighten the vibe just a tad. However, we are going to experience some extremes while the moon is in Libra energy in order for us to find a balancing point once again. So the mental processing is definitely going to continue, but now we're trying to achieve peace and harmony and balance in between the very extreme details that, of course, we were sorting through while in that Virgo energy. We like to keep things light and fluffy in this Libran energy. We like to kind of, be chatty Cathys and really kind of put ourselves out there in ways that we weren't comfortable in doing while the moon was in Virgo. However, we have to watch out for a little bit of staying in the shallow end when we should be diving in the deep end, especially in Pisces season. We're kind of being tossed around, if you will, in the middle of the ocean's washing machine. And we are definitely having a lot of opposing, dualistic, polarized thoughts and ideas and emotions come up. And the Libran energy has a tendency to want to keep things so light and fluffy that sometimes we avoid the heaviness, the weight, the shadow that we definitely have to dive into in order to find peace and harmony and balance within ourselves once again. So we are going to have some particular aspects pop off here today that's definitely going to illuminate the light, fluffy vibes where it is that we're kind of gaining different perspective and understanding of what's going on here. But then we're going to be thrown into the deep end, and that's going to be the uncomfortable part. And again, the whole point of the moon in Libra is for us to find a new grounding, new balancing point in between our heart and our head. So with that being said, there are 8 different aspects taking place here today, 7 of them going to involve the moon. Side note, we have a pretty tough major aspect taking place in the wee hours Tuesday morning between Mars and Jupiter, and that's definitely going to be a frustrating energy, a very heavy energy that kind of triggers our impulses, triggers our agitation, our anger just a bit. Many of us, because we're super hypersensitive at this point, may be tapping in on that particular aspect before it even happens. So there is this kind of overlap here today where that particular storyline is kind of taking place in the background. So if you're kind of wondering why the moon in Libra does have us in the shallow end of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our experiences, trying to keep things light and fluffy with rainbows and butterflies, but yet there's this existential heaviness, this dread, this weight really kind of pulling us into the deep end, that would be the Mars square Jupiter aspect that we will talk about a little bit more in depth and detail here tomorrow. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Now, back to today's energy, we do have the moon, while still in this Virgo energy, making a tough aspect with Jupiter. Not super tough, just awkward enough to make us uncomfortable. Sometimes we need to feel uncomfortable in order to make a major change, a major adjustment in our mood, in our attitude, in our perspective before we actually take action and make those particular adjustments in our physical realm. This is definitely going to put the spotlight on where it is that we are feeling a little bit challenged, where it is that we are having a hard time seeing opportunities for growth, for adjustment. Again, the moon in Virgo, really needing to kind of identify the problem in order for us to fix it, heal it, repair it in some kind of way. We're losing the optimistic type of perspective. We're not as confident as we maybe were here yesterday with some ideas, some epiphanies with our mental and emotional mental plane, kind of interacting with some of the emotions that we're unpacking, that we're processing. This is a little bit of an over-exaggeration on where it is that maybe we're too fixated on the problems, we're too kind of dark and doom and gloom, and we're realistically just choosing not to focus on the good. And again, that is very much a choice. The moon is going to directly oppose and sit across from Neptune in this Pisces energy. Again, we've had this particular interaction kind of build throughout the full moon in Virgo, because of course, Virgo energy, Pisces energy, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. This is the last aspect that the moon in Virgo is going to make before going void, of course, and this is definitely putting the tension on where it is that we're having a hard time kind of sticking to the truth, to the facts, to the reality of our current situations, and where it is that we kind of lose ourselves to la la land, where we kind of lose ourselves to conjuring up very unrealistic scenarios, good, bad, or otherwise, that essentially are competing and conflicting with some of the truth, some of the details, some of the matter of facts in this physical realm. So again, this is the point in time when the moon does go void, of course, and when the moon is void, things are a bit shaky, bit unstable, very uncertain. We really start kind of falling apart or tearing some of the stronger points, the stronger ideas, the stronger emotions down in a particular way. And we do have the moon in this Virgo energy, void, of course, making an awkward interaction with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money in this Aquarius energy. This is us kind of second guessing our wants, our needs, our desires, especially in the focus of relationship dynamics, the focus of our monetary situations. We are kind of confused because, of course, the Aquarius energy that Venus is in is very visionary. We did have a couple of positive aspects throughout the course of the last couple of days with the moon interacting with Venus, giving us that bigger, broader picture of what it is that we want, need, and desire. And of course, that Virgo energy was able to kind of break it down into smaller, manageable pieces. Right now, we're just not feeling so hot. We're just not feeling so safe and secure. We're just not really 100% with what it is that we want, need, and desire for ourselves, especially with a futuristic realm, a futuristic dream, goal, and vision in mind. So again, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're locking into that Libra energy. And only a couple of minutes later, we actually have the sun in Pisces energy, making a very beautiful interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, in this Taurus energy. What we love about this is, first of all, the sun shining a bright light in this Piscean energy. This is a favorable aspect, which means that we are tapping into creativity, imagination, intuition, healing, transformation. The Uranian energy, of course, gives us a little bit of jolt to see things differently, to have an aha moment, to have a perspective changing moment that we can't unknow, that we can't back away from. And so this particular interaction is kind of shining a bright light on some unique ideas, some unique qualities, characteristics, talents, and skills within us. It is an element where we are finally starting to see our want, need, and desire for change, for progress. And we are thinking outside of the box with that Uranian energy. We are kind of being, I'm going to say, mystically guided because of this Piscean energy. And this is a lovely, lovely way to figure out where it is that thinking outside of the box could actually lead us on a path, into a plan, into a strategy that not only is going to help us get from point A to point B, but take us on a very interesting quest while we actually kind of tick off the to-do list in being able to reconstruct, redesign our physical realms to not only look good, but to feel good, because we are acting now and building and creating out of this highest version of ourselves. So this is a beautiful energy for us to be working with. We sit in that for a couple of hours. The very first aspect that we have with the moon in this Libra energy is a positive one. It is a trine with Pluto, the great transformer himself, in this Aquarius energy. So we get this trine because it's air on air action. We have cardinal air with the Libra energy. We have fixed air with the Aquarius energy. So cardinal energy wants to initiate something new. It's a change of season, a change of chapters, if you will. Fixed air energy wants to stabilize, really wants to ground, wants to root, wants to anchor into new information, new ideas, new perspectives, new path, new plan. The transformational energy coming from Pluto, of course, is going to have a major shift in our inner realm, in our mood, in our attitude, in our thoughts, and our ideas, and our emotions. Again, the whole point of the moon in Libra energy is for us to find peace, harmony, and balance in our emotional realm, especially between our heart and our head. And so we were kind of in the thick of it the last couple of days with the full moon in Virgo, really kind of pushing the boundaries of dissecting all the different perspectives and thoughts and ideas and options and opportunities. And now we are kind of seeing where it is that we've lightened the vibe, where it is that we are exploring different thoughts, different ideas, different options, different opportunities, but from a much lighter, much more positive, much more optimistic point of view. And that has never hurt anyone. The moon is then going to make an awkward interaction with Uranus, though. This is, again, the effect of the scales of this Libran energy. We started off really positive with that Pluto interaction, and now the scales are going to tip in the most unfavorable way with Uranus. Uranus, of course, is in Taurus energy. That's an earth energy, a fixed earth energy nonetheless. And so what we get here is a little bit of a confusion point. Normally, if this was a positive aspect, Uranus would bring us a little bit of an aha moment, a little bit of insight, a little bit of clarity. This is not that. Instead, we're going to be hella confused on what it is that we're supposed to be doing. The energy of change, the energy of transition, the energy of adjustment is there, but we're also holding on to what it is that we've built, what is familiar, what is tried, tested, and true with every ounce of our being at this point. We're carrying a lot of fear, a lot of resistance in making some of the changes and adjustments that we know that we need to make, and therefore we are not at a state of peace and harmony and balance, especially within ourselves, because we are definitely seeing those scales kind of tip into the favor of just locking things down and not making any changes, not making any adjustments. We aren't going to sit in that for too long, though. The moon in Libra then going to make a very positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in this Taurus energy as well. And so even though there is that fixed earth energy there, it is at a different degree. So this is a different interaction. And Mr. Jupiter, he brings the positivity. He brings the optimism back. He brings the bigger, broader picture back. He brings the opportunity for us to explore options and opportunities without feeling the pressure of having to make those changes, those adjustments, that major transformation now. And so we're able to kind of move into this light and fluffy space with the moon being in Libran energy to kind of think about different options and opportunities. Again, removing the roles, the responsibilities, the weight, the commitment, the obligation to do it now. We're kind of building ourselves up in our inner realm, preparing ourselves for this action point that, of course, is not going to be taking place in Pisces season. The last thing that we have going on here today is a little bit of a tough interaction between the moon in Libra energy and Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Mercury is now in Pisces energy, wrapping up his time in his zodiac wheel, in his zodiac cycle. So, of course, we know that Mercury being in Pisces energy, it's kind of intuitive, kind of reading between the lines. There is no black and white. Everything's kind of in this gray area. It's very interpretive. It's very much about blending our intellect with our intuition. Right now, this particular interaction, we're not on the same page between our heart and our head. Our heart wants balance. Our heart wants to find that grounding point, wants to create peace and harmony, stillness within us. Mercury, he's riding the waves over here in Pisces energy, and we know that there's no balance when the waves are choppy as F. So we're kind of all up and then down. We're back and forth in our mental plane, while our emotional realm just wants to anchor in, wants to find a grounding point, just wants to feel safe and secure without the tipsy-topsy-turvy back and forth, up and down of this I'm going to call it sea experience. You know, think of a boat being choppy on the waves, up and down and up and down. And that's very much our thought process. That's very much our focus, our concentration. The moon, on the other hand, in this Libran energy, we're just holding on to, you know, whatever we can hold on to give ourselves a sense of not being at sea. We want a little bit of comfort and stability, and we want to feel like we are earthed out, grounded out, without feeling tossed and turned and up and down and everywhere's in between, out in the middle of the ocean. So of course, our heart and our head not going to be in alignment as we close the day out. And a lot of that is in preparation for some of the energy, some of the aspects popping off early Tuesday morning, which of course we will cover in the next episode of your energy forecast.